Good morning, children. Welcome back to chemistry class. Today's topic is percentage composition and its usefulness. That is, the applications of percentage composition in the determination of empirical formulae of substances. Okay? Percentage composition. You know that percent means per hundred. Percent means per hundred. The percentage composition of the substance is defined in terms of the percentages of parts by mass of various elements present in 100 parts by mass of compound. The percentages of parts by mass of elements, that is nothing but the parts by mass of elements per 100 parts by mass of compound is said to be the percentage composition. The percentage composition can be calculated by using the formula like this. Percentage composition is equal to of percentage composition of an element in a compound. Percentage composition of an element in a compound is equal to number of atoms of element, number of atoms of element into atomic weight of element by molecular weight of element by molecular weight of not element, molecular weight of compound. This gives the percentage composition of that element. Okay. For example, let us find the percentage compositions of various elements present in sodium carbonate or sodium carbonate, anhydrous sodium carbonate. Let us take anhydrous sodium carbonate. Percentage composition of anhydrous sodium carbonate. Example. Percentage composition of anhydrous sodium carbonate. Let us find the percentage composition of anhydrous sodium carbonate. Sodium carbonate's formula is formula of sodium carbonate is equal to Na2CO3. Formula of sodium carbonate is Na2CO3. Formula mass or molecular mass of Na2CO3 is equal to 2 into 23 plus 12 plus 3 into 16. That is equal to 46 plus 12 plus 48, 60 plus 46, that is 106. Now let us see the percentage of various elements present in sodium carbonate. What are the elements present in sodium carbonate? Sodium, carbon and oxygen. Percentage of sodium in Na2CO3. Percentage of sodium in Na2CO3 is equal to number of atoms of element in the compound. How many atoms are there? 2 atoms of sodium are there, into atomic weight of element, that is sodium, 23, by formula weight or molecular weight of compound, 106. 2 into 23 by 106 into 100. Into 100. We need to write into 100, per 100. Okay? Per 100. That is equal to 46 into 100 by 106. On simplification, we get 4600 by 106. That is equal to 43.39, that is approximately 43.4. 43.4. That is the percentage of sodium in sodium carbonate. What is the percentage of carbon in sodium carbonate? Let us find the percentage of carbon in sodium carbonate. How do you find the formula? The number of atoms of carbon. How many atoms of carbon are there in sodium carbonate? 1 atom, that is 1, into atomic mass of carbon, 12, by molecular weight of sodium carbonate, 106, into 100. Okay? That is equal to 11.32%. 11.32. 11.32% of carbon is present in sodium carbonate. That is 100 grams of sodium carbonate contains 11.32 grams of carbon. Next, percentage of, what is the other element? What is the other element present in sodium carbonate? Oxygen. Percentage of oxygen is equal to how much? Number of atoms of oxygen, that is 3, into atomic mass of oxygen, 16, by 106 into 100. That is equal to 3 16s are 48. 4800 by 106, that is 45.28. 45.28. That is the percentage of oxygen. Okay. So what are the percentages of sodium, carbon and oxygen in sodium carbonate? 43.4%, 11.32% and 45.28%. to 8%. Therefore, percentage composition of Na2CO3 is 43.4% of Na and 11.32% of carbon and how much of oxygen? 45.28% of oxygen. 45.28% of oxygen. So, in order to verify whether you are right or not, you can add these three. If you add these three percentages, you have to get 100. You have to get 100. What is the total? 43.5. Sodium is equal to 43.4%. Carbon is equal to 11.32%. And oxygen is equal to how much? 45.28%. If we add these three, 0, 4 plus 3 plus 2, 9, 9 plus 1, 10, 0, 1, 4, 5, 5 plus 5, 10, 1, 9 plus 1, 10. You will get 100. That means 100 grams of sodium carbonate contains 43.4 grams of sodium, 11.32 grams of carbon and 45.28 grams of oxygen, or 100 parts by mass of sodium carbonate. The parts by mass may be either grams or kilograms or tons or even quintals, like that. 100 parts by mass contains 43.4 parts by mass of sodium, 11.32 parts by mass of carbon and 45.28 parts by mass of oxygen. You can predict this as 100 kilograms of sodium carbonate contains 43.4 kilograms of sodium, 11.32 kilograms of carbon and 45.28 kilograms of oxygen. Here part is kilogram, or 100 tons of sodium carbonate contains 43.4 tons of sodium, 11.32 tons of carbon and 45.28 tons of oxygen. So this is the meaning of percentage composition. Okay. So what is percentage composition? Percentage composition is defined as the number of parts by mass of various elements present in 100 parts by mass of compound. Number of parts by mass of various elements present in 100 parts by mass of compound, and this can be obtained by the formula by finding the percentages of each element. The percentage of each element can be found by the formula percentage of element is equal to number of atoms of element in the compound into atomic weight of element by molecular weight of compound into 100. That formula gives the percentage of an element. We find the percentages of each and every element present in the compound, and if all the percentages of elements in the compound are written like this, that shows the percentage composition. Okay? Let us see one more example. The percentage composition of oxygen. Find the percentage composition of oxygen. Not oxygen. Find the percentage composition of calcium carbonate. Let us find the percentage composition of calcium carbonate. Simplest one. find the percentage composition of calcium carbonate. For this we need to find the percentages of each and every element present in 100 grams of calcium carbonate. For this we need to know the molecular weight of calcium carbonate. Molecular weight of calcium carbonate is equal to atomic weight of calcium, that is 40, plus atomic weight of carbon, that is 12, plus 3 into atomic weight of oxygen, that is 16. That is 40 plus 12 plus 3 16s are 48, that is equal to 100. Molecular weight of calcium carbonate is 100. Now let us find the percentages of each and every element. Percentage of calcium is equal to number of atoms of, I am writing the formula again, number of atoms of calcium into atomic weight of calcium by molecular weight of calcium carbonate into 100. This is the formula for the percentage of calcium. Number of calcium atoms present in calcium carbonate is 1 into atomic weight of calcium is 40 by molecular weight of calcium carbonate is 100 into 100. 100 and 100 will be cancelled, so it is 40. So how much percentage of calcium is present in calcium carbonate? 40%. That means 100 grams of calcium carbonate contains 40 grams of calcium. In the same way, percentage of carbon is equal to number of atoms of, shall I write the formula once again? It's not needed to write the formula every time. The same formula, number of atoms of carbon into atomic weight of carbon by molecular weight of calcium carbonate. Number of atoms of carbon is 1 into atomic weight of carbon is 12 by molecular weight of carbon is calcium carbonate is 100 into 100, that is equal to 12. In the same way, percentage of oxygen is equal to, there are 3 atoms of oxygen, so 3 into the atomic weight of each oxygen atom is 16 by 100 into 100, that is equal to how much? 48. So what is the percentage composition? Percentage composition of calcium carbonate is, calcium is equal to 40%, carbon is equal to 12%, and oxygen is equal to 48%. That is the percentage composition. If the masses of various elements present in a given mass of compound, then also we can find the percentage composition. If the masses of various elements present in a given amount of compound, then also we can find the percentage composition. So percentage composition can also be defined like this. There are several components in a compound. If the mass of one component is known, we can find its percentage from the molecular mass. Okay? Percentage composition or percentage of element is equal to percentage of element in a compound is equal to, or percentage of a component in a compound is equal to weight of element by molecular weight of compound, not molecular weight, weight of element by weight of compound into 100. Weight of element by weight of compound into 100. Okay. If a certain compound contains, that is, if x grams of a compound contains, if x grams of compound contains y grams of oxygen, x grams of compound contains y grams of oxygen, then percentage of oxygen is equal to weight of oxygen by weight of compound into 100. Weight of oxygen by weight of compound into 100. That is equal to, what is the weight of oxygen here? Y grams of oxygen. Y grams by x grams into 100. Grams and grams will be cancelled. That is 100y by x. That is the percentage of oxygen. For any component, the percentage can be found like this. That component may be an element or a compound. For example, let us see another example. Hydrated sodium carbonate or hydrated copper sulfate. Hydrated sodium carbonate or hydrated copper sulfate. Let us take hydrated copper sulfate. Percentage of, find the percentage of water of crystallization find the percentage of water of crystallization in copper sulfate, hydrated copper sulfate, hydrated copper sulfate. What is the formula of hydrated copper sulfate? CuSO4 5H2O. This is the formula. So for this, let us find the formula of hydrated copper sulfate. What is molecular mass of hydrated copper sulfate? Molecular mass of or molecular weight of hydrated copper sulfate is equal to atomic mass of carbon approximately 64 plus atomic mass of sulfur 32 plus 4 into oxygen 4 into 16 64 plus water 5 molecules of water, that is 5 into 2 into 1 10 hydrogens 10 into 1 10 plus 5 into oxygens, 5 16s are 80. 5 16s are 80. So total is 64 plus 64, 128. 128 plus 32, 150. 128. 128 plus 32, 1 50, 150 or 160? 160, 160 plus 90, 250. That is 250. What is the molecular mass of hydrated copper sulfate? 250. That is 250 grams of hydrated copper sulfate contains 80 grams of water. So percentage of water is equal to weight of water by weight of compound into 100. Weight of water is equal to 80 grams by total weight of compound is 250 grams into 100. Twenty-five divides this by 4 times. 8 into 4, that is 32. So what is the percentage of water of crystallization in CuSO4? 32%. Water of crystallization. In CuSO4, 5H2O is equal to 32%. That is, for every 100 grams of hydrated copper sulfate, there exists 32 grams of water in the form of water of crystallization. Okay. Now let us go to another concept, the percentage yield. Another concept, percentage yield. Can you find the percentage compositions of some other elements? Shall we find? Let us find the percentage compositions of some other elements. After that we shall go to another concept, that is percentage yield. Let us see one more compound. Find the percentage composition of urea. Find the percentage composition of urea. The formula of urea is N2H4CO. The formula of urea is N2H4CO. Now let us see the molecular weight of, let us find the molecular weight of urea first. Molecular weight of urea is equal to 2 into nitrogen, 2 into 14, 28, plus 4, plus 12, plus 16, that is 16 plus 4, 20, 20 plus 40, 60. Molecular weight of urea is 60. That is 60 grams of urea is made up of 28 grams of nitrogen, 4 grams of hydrogen, 12 grams of carbon and 16 grams of oxygen. Okay. Now, what are the different elements present in urea? Nitrogen, hydrogen, carbon and oxygen. Percentage of nitrogen is equal to amount of nitrogen present or number of nitrogen atoms present into atomic weight of nitrogen 14 by molecular weight 60 into 100. That is equal to 3 times 140 by 3. 140 by 3. That is equal to 46.66. 46.666. Let us write it as 46.67. 46.67% of nitrogen is present in urea. What is the other element? Percentage of hydrogen. The other element is hydrogen. Percentage of hydrogen is 4 into 1 by 60 into 100. 4 into 1 by 60 into 100. That is 400 by 40 by 6. 40 by 6. That is equal to 6.67. 6.67%. Actually 6.666. We get 6.67%. Percentage of carbon. Percentage of carbon is equal to number of atoms of carbon 1 into atomic mass of carbon 12 by molecular mass of urea 60 into 100. That is equal to 5 divides this 20. That is 20%. Okay? 20% of carbon. Percentage of oxygen is equal to, how many oxygens are there? One oxygen into atomic weight of oxygen is 16 by 60 into 100. That is equal to 1600 by 60 or 160 by 6. 160 by 6. That is equal to 26.67. As we are taking all 67, 67, 67, we may get a little more than 100. The total will be a little more than 100. Actually, this is 46.66, 6666, 6.6666, and this is 26.6666. But if we add these, we get 100.01. 100.01. So what is the percentage composition of urea? Percentage composition of urea is how much? Nitrogen is equal to 46.67%. Hydrogen is equal to 6.67%. Oxygen is equal to, carbon is equal to 26.67%, and oxygen is equal to, oxygen is 26, oxygen is 26.67%, and carbon is equal to 20%. This is the percentage composition of urea. What is the sum? 46.67 plus 6.67 plus 20 plus 26.67. That is equal to 100.01. The total will be 100.01. The excess 100.01 is, as we rounded this to the second decimal place to 0.7, we got 100.01. So in this way, the percentage composition of any compound can be calculated. Percentage composition means percentages of various elements present in the given compound. Percentage means per 100. That is, the masses of various elements present in 100 grams of or 100 parts by mass of the compound is said to be the percentage composition. Okay? So in this way, the percentage composition can be calculated. The percentage compositions can be useful in finding the empirical formulae, and from that empirical formulae we can find the molecular formula. Okay, the applications of percentage compositions will be discussed in the next class. Now let us go to another small concept, that is percentage yield. What is the other concept? Percentage yield. Percentage yield. What is meant by yield? Yield is the amount of product form. Yield is the amount of product form. You know that the chemical reactions follow the stoichiometric equations. The masses of various reactants and products which are involved in a chemical reaction can be compared by using can be calculated by using the stoichiometric equation, that is a balanced chemical equation. But in nature, most of the chemical reactions do not go to 100% completion. Most of the chemical reactions do not go to 100% completion. Only very few chemical reactions go to 100% completion. The reactions like reactions between ionic substances only go to 100% completion. Even the ionic substances go to 100% completion. Some amount of substance may be again converted into reactants. That is, an equilibrium is established. Even in hydrolysis of salts, for example, sodium hydroxide, when reacts with hydrochloric acid, gives sodium chloride and water. Sodium chloride and water. This is a neutralization reaction. As sodium hydroxide is a strong base and hydrochloric acid is a strong acid, the reaction is almost 10% completed. Okay? But all the other reactions will not be like this. For example, calcium hydroxide, when treated with hydrochloric acid, forms the salts in the same way, that is calcium chloride and water. Calcium chloride and water. Calcium hydroxide is not very strong base. HCl, though HCl is a strong acid, the compounds formed again reacted to form small amounts of calcium hydroxide and hydrochloric acid. Calcium hydroxide doesn't dissociate completely in its aqueous solution, so the reaction is a little bit backward. So that means it is a reversible reaction actually. But reaction goes to completion to a large extent. The reaction may go to 90% or 95% completion to form the products, but it's not 100% completed. But the reaction between sodium hydroxide and hydrochloric acid is completed 100%. As sodium hydroxide and hydrochloric acid are strong base and strong acid, the sodium hydroxide doesn't react, sodium chloride doesn't react with water, so reaction will be 10% completed. But it is not the situation in the case of reaction between calcium chloride and hydrochloric acid. The calcium chloride is a salt of a weak base and strong acid. As a result, the calcium chloride reacts with water and forms a small amount of calcium hydroxide which is present in the solid state. Reaction is not 10% completed. As a result, the yield is not 10%. The yield is not 10%. According to this stoichiometric equation, how much of calcium hydroxide is to react with hydrochloric acid to give this one? This is not a balanced equation. In order to balance this, we need to multiply this with 2. How many hydrogens are there? 4 hydrogens. So 2 waters. Now this is the balanced equation. 1 calcium, 2 hydrogens, plus 2 hydrogens, 4 hydrogens, 2 oxygens, 2 calciums, 2 calcium. The number of moles is 1 mole, 2 moles, give 1 mole and 2 moles. That is 2 moles. If these moles are converted into grams, the molecular weight of calcium hydroxide. What is the molecular weight of calcium hydroxide? Calcium 40 plus 16 plus 1, 17 into 2, 34. 40 plus 34, 74 grams. 74 grams of calcium hydroxide reacts with 2 into HCl. HCl 36.5. That is 73 grams of HCl to give calcium chloride, 111 grams of calcium chloride, and 2 moles means 36 grams of oxygen. 36 grams of oxygen. These are to be masses of reactants and products involved in the reaction according to stoichiometric equation. If this reaction is 10% completed, the actual yield of calcium chloride is 111 grams. But this reaction is not 10% completed. It is an irreversible reaction. So the yield of calcium chloride will be less than 111 grams. It may be either 100 grams or 95 grams or 105 grams, less than 111 grams, and this also will be less than 36 grams. These are the actual yields. These are the actual yields. These are the theoretical yields. These are the theoretical. Theoretical yields are the amounts of products to be formed according to stoichiometric equation. Actual yields are the amounts of products actually formed during a chemical reaction which is carried out either in the laboratory or in an industry. The actual yield is always a little bit less than the theoretical yield in most of the cases. In most of the reactions, the actual yield is less than the theoretical yield. We discussed the reaction N2 plus H2 gives rise to NH3 plus heat. The preparation of ammonia or manufacture of ammonia in Haber's process. The Balanced equation is N2 plus 3H2 gives rise to 2NH3. The reaction needs special conditions like 450 degrees Celsius temperature and 200 atmospheres pressure. In the presence of iron as catalyst and molybdenum as promoter. Even these conditions are created, the yield is only 7%. That means all the reactants, all the nitrogen and hydrogen, or at least one of the reactants, nitrogen and hydrogen, will not be completely consumed. Only 7% of the reaction takes place, so yield is only 7%. If the pressure is increased to 200 atmospheres, not 200, 900 atmospheres, then the yield will be increased to a maximum of 18%. And the rest of the 82% of the reactants will not react. Those unreacted reactants will be recirculated to make the reaction to take place in the forward direction, and this ammonia is removed in order to suppress the backward reaction. This is a reversible reaction. To suppress the backward reaction, either heat is removed or ammonia formed is removed. So nitrogen will be formed continuously. If these are not removed due to the reversible process, the yield is very low. If yield is very low, the industry is not profitable. We need to get more amount of yield. Percentage of yield should be more. How to calculate percentage of yield? Suppose in the above reaction, that is the reaction between calcium hydroxide and hydrochloric acid, the actual yield is 100 grams only. What is the theoretical yield? Theoretical yield of calcium chloride should be 111 grams. Suppose actual yield is 100 grams. Suppose 100 grams is the actual yield. Then percentage of yield can be calculated like this. Percentage of yield is equal to actual yield by theoretical yield. That is yield to be formed according to stoichiometric equation. Theoretical yield into 100. Okay, that is equal to, what is the actual yield in this process? We suppose that it is 100 grams. The theoretical yield is 111 grams. Instead of 111 grams of the formation of calcium chloride, only 100 grams of calcium chloride is formed due to some reasons. What are those reasons? The reaction conditions and the reversibility. Into 100. 100 by 111 into 100. That is 90.09. 90.09 or 90.1 approximately. The percentage yield is 90.09 only, not 10%. So in this way, the percentage yield can be calculated. The percentage yield is equal to actual yield by theoretical yield into 100. Why the actual yield is less than the theoretical yield? Due to the reversibility of the reaction, or due to the conditions which are not favorable for the completion of reaction. Due to the reversibility or due to the conditions which are not favorable for the 100% completion of the reaction may proceed to certain extent only in most of the industries. In such cases, the actual yield is always less than the theoretical yield, as the percentage yield can be calculated by using this formula. As more the amount of percentage yield, the more the amount of percentage yield, the more profitable the industry is. Okay? So in this way, we can calculate the percentage yield. In very few reactions, like the reactions between ions, sodium hydroxide in aqueous solution contains Na plus ions and OH minus ions. HCl contains H plus ions and Cl minus ions. They are completely ionized. In NaCl also, Na plus and Cl minus ions completely ionized. As these are completely ionized, the sodium ions or chloride ions do not react with water to form sodium hydroxide or hydrochloric acid. This kind of reactions are irreversible in nature. Only in these irreversible reactions, if the conditions are favorable, the yield is 10%. Whereas in most of the cases, the yield is less than 10%. In some cases, the yield is more than 90%, like the formation of calcium chloride, or it is very low, like the formation of ammonia in Haber's process. It will be 7% to 18% depending on the pressure. Okay. Let us calculate, let us use the percentage compositions in the determination of empirical formula And from empirical formula, let us see how to find the molecular formula of a compound in the next class. Okay, thank you.